Hello RuneScape, Wilmstead here with a new video, and how is everyone doing? Welcome to this new thing I'm doing. I'm not quite sure what to call it yet, or if it even is gonna have its own name, but I view it as a good chance to do something serious for once, and ideally something meaningful amongst my otherwise comedic and informative videos. I want to talk to you all from the perspective of a RuneScape player to another. One thing I've noticed with Jagex these days is that they have become very transparent, which on one hand is a good thing due to all the positive community interaction that happens as a result of it, but it also means that the average player has got this sort of expectation when it comes to future updates and changes happening in RuneScape. Especially the ones of you who were around a few years back, when Jagex would release updates once a week without the player knowing what the update was before the system update. Today we see weekly behind the scenes videos explaining everything about the update, its rewards, its gameplay, its development, everything. And what this does is that it kills our excitement for the unknown. It kills our excitement on what to expect from an update. Long gone are the days where players would frantically update the website to check out what the system update was all about. And here comes the days of, oh, here comes the quest they promised us a long time ago. Jagex have made behind the scenes videos since May 2012, which means that for over 4 years, players have known everything that was gonna happen in this game. And that is not mentioning how we have an overview for the month ahead at the start of every month. The element of surprise every week is just not there anymore. After the evolution of combat in 2012, we can also argue that the quality of updates have gone significantly down, especially updates related to quests and holiday events. Now, there are several factors in play regarding this, such as a new approach Jagex have with updates in general, where they want to spend less time creating holiday events, and the fact that there are fewer JMods working on the game than what there were in 2012. But here's my point, and my point might be another very big factor to this, that it might be because we expect too much of every update. Imagine this, and I'm sure you can relate to it. Every week, Jagex will release a new behind-the-scenes video going through the update, its rewards, its cool boss fights, its epic scenery. There are discussions in-game, on Reddit, on social media, on different forums, everywhere, where even more hype is bumped into the updates. Even updates that aren't that great will seem like a massive addition to the game this way. And when it is eventually released, the update doesn't quite meet our expectations and we get disappointed and we think, oh well, that was a pretty bad update. This kind of falls into a negative loop as well for the people working on the update. Their deadlines are no stricter, which means they're under time pressure to get the update ready on time. And they're under more pressure to make the content live up to what the players want out of it. And if they get disheartened or bogged down under all this time pressure, they might not be able to make the update as good as they otherwise would do. And so it gets released with imperfections and viewed critically and negatively by the players, which in turn would dishearten them even further for future updates that they work on. And when you think of it that way, both the players and Jagex are worse off from having the update so openly shared with us. Dimension of Disaster is a great example of this. We gave all this hype for the 200th quests and we had some great ideas, but the developers did simply not have the time to make it as good as they could. So instead of this awe-inspiring, huge spanning, great celebration of a quest, we got an alright one. Now, before we delve deeper into the topic, it is worth mentioning that things are never simple, and there have been changes from and in Jagex. That means things haven't been consistent in the background of these transparency changes. For example, the number of quests each year has gone down significantly. We saw 8 being released in 2011 and only 5 in 2015, and so far in 2016, we've only had 4 quests. We're seeing less quests released this year, and with the longer and longer wait between them, of course the player expectation is going to be a lot higher when they come out. So even if a quest is decent, nothing amazing but decent, the players are still going to view it unfavorably. Although this is without taking into account everything we're getting with other updates, such as all the mini-quests in the Ark or Tale of God Wars before the God Wars 2 release, so you can take this example with a pinch of salt. We're also seeing a large number of smaller updates being released each year. This year we've seen a lot of smaller pieces of content being released from microtransaction. And we have a whole lot more of patch notes and updates being released in batches. But that should in theory make us really excited for the big update of the month, rather than disappointed all the time. Going back to the holiday updates, because that is a really good example of this. In 2010, we had this Halloween event where people ran around in Death's house preparing a party. And in 2011, we had pretty much the same thing preparing a festival, DeathCon, in a clan citadel. And people absolutely loved it. Then they started telling everyone what we're gonna be doing every year, and things got, well, you know. 2013 was very disappointing in terms of holiday events. We had the Lumbridge Rebuild-a-thon, we had the Gathixian Butterflies, but after returning to the fancy holiday events in 2014, people never really got back to the All this is a great event feeling. Even with my favorite Halloween event in 2014, where we ran around in Death's house exterminating demonic ghosts, a lot of people vocally disliked it on the forums. You could always put it down to nostalgia, or say there's people who hate everything Jagex do and who love to create drama and stir up trouble for attention. You could also put it down to updates being more grindy, but that's for another video. Instead, I want to talk about how updates are diminished by Jagex being more open and telling us what the updates involve. I remember before the behind the scenes was a thing and people had no idea what was going to be released. We just knew something was going to happen every Monday, and if we were lucky, people would get a hint on the forums or on Twitter, and people would go crazy on social media and the forums trying to figure out what the update would be. You can even look up the archive of update hints on the RuneScape wiki to get an idea of what we used to get given. When the Thieves Guild and the related quest was released, all we got was a tweet saying, "Next week, Ruby Dragons." Compare that to what we're given now and you can see the big difference. Another example of something that used to be an amazing resource but now had just kind of faded away is all the RuneScape wiki pages related to future updates. First, we had the leak page that contained any and all of content that we found on the site or released in Jagex videos. A future update page that contained everything released by Jagex in one way or another. It could be small things such as a Jama saying, "Oh, we're gonna release a vampire quest," and a hidden update page that contained everything the players found released by Jagex but not mentioned on the website. And that would always be exciting every single week. I mean, with hidden updates, things could be in the game for weeks or months without anybody noticing, and people rarely got disappointed from that because they never knew about it and never expected anything from it. The Shadow Sword mini quest, or the General Shadow that Jagex named it on the completionist tab, is a perfect example of just that. As I mentioned earlier, Jagex are making smaller and smaller updates, and they're definitely not making the same kind of updates that they made 6 years ago. At this point, we're getting 1 or 2 content-based updates a month, and I do believe players would enjoy this a lot more if they were left to surprise until the update day. Now, don't get me wrong, there are obviously some flaws with this, such as controversial updates or game-changing updates. Like, imagine if they released the smithing and mining rework the way it was when players hated it. That would have been fun. Even more so with the EOC. But that is not to say we never got controversial updates without prior warning. Remember the removal of the Wilderness, the Constitution update, and Dungeoneering. All things that would have been rallied against if we got the information before the update happened. Now imagine waking up one day to find the Ark released or Fate of the Gods. Sure, it may not be your favorite updates in the world, but imagine how crazy people would go to wake up one day to find this huge, amazing piece of content waiting for them. Of course, the element of surprise is not a solution or an excuse to disguise a bad update as a good one, but I do honestly believe that if we didn't expect that much going into every update, we would enjoy what the game has to offer a lot more. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Also, if you like this kind of video, do consider giving it a thumbs up. My name is Wolmist, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye everyone.